So today we'll have Kirk, obviously he's our starting quarterback, going out there and playing for us. We'll sign Easton Sticks to the active roster, get him acclimated and all the things that we got to get done for him to get an active roster. And we'll sign Cal Trask to our practice squad, bringing him in today, doing some of those things to move forward, to continue the rest of the season in order to go find a way to get a win this week.
Raheem Morris laying out the plan at quarterback. Mark Zinno's here, 92.9 The Game. You hear him nationally on ESPN Radio as well. He's on Twitter at Mark Zinno. What up, dude?
What's going on, brother? How you been? It's a different time here in Atlanta these days.
Well, same here. The pro team stinks, and the college team is just fraught with well, I don't know. Let's just move on. As it, the Kiffin stuff, and anyway. All right, Kirk Cousins. Let's start there, Zinno. How does the offense change with with Cousins as opposed to Penix?
Well, I mean, look, you're going to see him under center a ton more. That's number one. And ideally, they should be running somewhere in the neighborhood of about, 60% of their plays out of play action. That's for Kirk's own good and for the betterment of the offense. So it's not going to look like it did. And I asked Raheem about that on Monday. Obviously the offense has to look different. They're different quarterbacks. One's a lefty, one's a righty, so things are going to be called different. I would expect a heavy dose of Bijan Robinson. BREC London's going to be out. They have no wide receivers to speak of that anybody would know the name of. So I'm not sure what they're going to do from a passing standpoint, but this is certainly an offense that's going to be centered around Bijan on Sunday.
Yeah, dive in, if you would, there just for a moment on deeper on Drake London and his absence and what realistically they do in the passing game without Drake London.
I mean, I'd love to be able to tell you that Kyle Pitts will be the guy that they go to, but I don't necessarily know that that's a viable option. For all of his unicorn status coming out of college, he's more like a broken mule than a unicorn. And that's not, at least from a production standpoint, it's not, him as a total player, but the point simply is he's not exactly a great blocking tight end, and they don't exactly find ways to open him up in the middle of the field. Maybe they will. I mean, maybe they should use the middle of the field a lot more, but I would tend to think that, as far as the options on the outside, maybe Darnell Mooney has better chemistry with Kirk Cousins than he did with Michael Penix. You can tell that those two just were not on the same page. Maybe some of that had to go back to do with missing training camp and not getting enough reps in, but by the time Mooney got back in the lineup, this team was in a different position. And so I would think that you'll get, a lot of Bijan and short passes out of the backfield, and whatever, not Pitts, sorry, my God, my brain is fried. Pitts and Mooney can do on the outside, and maybe some David Sills will be in there, who knows. But I don't think it would be a very high-level passing attack. And, oh, by the way, Kirk has not looked good throwing the ball. I just have to be honest about it. I don't think he's washed yet. I think this is a major opportunity for him to find a way to stay on the roster next year and play football next year, given the fact that Michael Penix is likely going to miss all of next season, at least the way it's trending. So Kirk is playing for a job here next year. And for an organization that told us we're comfortable with Kirk Cousins $40 million on the roster, why? It's already money we've paid, which was an asinine philosophy the day that they said it, but that's neither here nor there. Kirk is kind of playing for a job here. So I don't know which version of Kirk Cousins we're going to get, but if it's a good one, he may play himself into a job over the course of the next 7 games.
He's on Twitter at Mark Zinno. Okay. So they'll have a healthy dose of Bijan Robinson. I would assume they want to run the ball and probably play really good defense. So they'll have to defend Tyler Shuck. How does that Atlanta defense look to fare against Shuck on Sunday?
Well, I mean, if you go prior to the Patriots game, it looked really good. But the last 2 weeks we've seen Daniel Jones throw for 300-plus yards against them, 250-plus yards against them. And then, of course, Bryce Young went for a whopping 448 yards against them.
Crazy.
So I don't know what to make of what their pass defense is. Some of that, I think, is a little bit of game script, though. Both of those teams were trailing later in the game and had to come back, so obviously it was more conducive to throwing. But you got to remember something. Over the course of the last 3 weeks, Matt, the Falcons' defense has been on the field 40 minutes per game. It's not sustainable. Because this team, over this losing streak, I think has converted something like 13 third downs. to get first downs over the course of 5 weeks. Like they're constantly getting off the field. So there was one point where they were 3 for 18 over a 3-game stretch between the Niners, Dolphins, and Patriots. And so when you're constantly not being able to move the chains and stay on the field offensively, your defense wears down in the second half. And that's ultimately what the problem has been, is that their defense wears down in the second half. So if they can build a lead, maybe there's a chance where the offense starts running and converting third downs later in the game and gives the defense a little bit of a break. But that's been the problem the last couple of weeks, is that defense has been on the field way too long.
Zinno, do you think that trip to Berlin a couple of weeks ago against the Colts factors into this at all?
I'm sorry, the what for a win?
The trip, the overseas trip a couple of weeks ago.
The trip to Germany, yeah. I mean, every team is, at some point, half the league is traveling overseas right now, right? Like, that's just the reality. I don't know that had a lot to do with it. It was a game they could have won, a game they should have won. I mean, in reality, there's an argument over the last 3 games. They should all be wins. They really should. And they're not, and that's probably emblematic of the team's inability to finish, the coaching staff's inability to navigate crucial moments of the game, and, overall combination of a lot of just boneheaded plays and things that went wrong along the way that are really hard to ascertain. Like, the Falcons have been whack-a-mole for the last 3 weeks. And what I mean is, like, okay, the first problem's over here on the right. Oh, no, the next problem's over here on the left. Nope, now it's up top. Nope, now it's on the – like, it's not the same thing every week. I can't sit here and tell you they've had – other than converting on third downs on offense, I can't tell you they've had a consistent problem over this 5-game losing streak you can really put your finger on. No, they haven't. It's been a different thing every single week, that's particularly the last 3 weeks, that's cost them a game, and that's why they are where they are at 3-7 in a season that's quickly flushing down the toilet.
Is Raheem Morris in trouble?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the problem. The problem for the Falcons from a coaching standpoint is, and I can just be honest and blunt about this, you have a glorified quarterbacks coach calling plays and a glorified DB coach as your head coach. That's a problem. There's just not enough quality experience from the people in key positions to be able to manage this team. Raheem's in trouble because the expectation for this team with Michael Penix is that they would be a playoff team. Raheem's in trouble because the coaching has been, at best, uneven throughout the entire season. So, and the losses ultimately fall on, you don't fire the players, you fire the coach. But in the big picture, is there a world where he's safe at the end of the year, depending on how these last 7 games go? Yes, because you know what the Falcons don't want to do? You don't want to be on your 5th coach in 11 years. That makes you the Giants and a laughing stock of the NFL. And I'm a Giants fan. Like, I grew up in New York, so it's hard for me to say that. Outside of 4 Super Bowls that they're hanging their hat on, like, the Giants are a joke. The whole organization is poorly run at this point in time. And if you're on 5 coaches in 11 years, then you're starting to become equally that laughing stock. You can't just keep turning everything over and expect things to change. I mean, how often can you try and find the right guy? And it doesn't look like, Matty, this offseason is loaded with hot coaching candidates.
Yeah, it's interesting too, Zinno, just as you say that, because I always perceive Arthur Blank as kind of being a patient owner, one that's not really reactionary. But
he's as meddling as the day is long. He is a very nice man, a very generous man, a very philanthropic man. He is a god-awful football owner. He cannot keep his hands out of everything. Look, just back the truck up for a minute, okay, and figure out how we got where we are at the Falcons. When Arthur Smith took the job, after Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitroff were fired, Matt Ryan was still here. Arthur Smith, and I have this, from very good sources, Arthur Smith was promised 2 years of Matt Ryan when he took the job, because if he wasn't, I guarantee you that he would have never taken the job. And that was when Matt Ryan's cap hit was, and this goes back 5 years, when $40 million of cap hit was insane.
Sure.
But that's where his cap hit was. So he took the job. What happened after year 1 when he finished 7-9 with Matt Ryan and a defense that was dead last in the league? Oh, the owner got involved and lusted after Deshaun Watson and openly courted him and then failed to get him. And when that happened, he had egg all over his face and had to dump Matt Ryan for a 3rd-round pick to the Colts. And the Falcons were left with Marcus Mariota in the bottom basement bargain CD bin you see at Best Buy as a quarterback. And so that precipitated all these events. And then what happened next? Oh, okay, well, then they decided to fire Arthur Smith prematurely, which was a terrible decision in my opinion, despite the fact that he won 7 games with Desmond freaking Ritter at quarterback. I mean, that should have got him a medal, and instead he got a pink slip. So then they bring in Raheem Morris, and what happens? The Falcons decide to, let's just pay Kirk Cousins a boatload of money, and then draft his replacement 5 weeks later. All of that was on the owner. All of that was on the owner. These chain of events have been set in motion by the owner getting involved in football business when he shouldn't be.
He's on Twitter at Mark Zinno, 92.9 the game. Okay, man, just back to Sunday because they're going to play the game out of obligation. If Atlanta wins it, how do you think the game looks?
Believe it or not, I give the Falcons a chance to win.
No, I believe that. The Saints aren't good.
Matt, are we in a world where the Saints are a favorite?
No, I think Atlanta's a 2. What's Atlanta in this game? I think it's Atlanta. Am I right? Atlanta 2.5? I'm looking at it right now. Atlanta. Nope, you're right. You're right.
New Orleans
no.
-1.5 across the board.
You're right. So it flipped with the injury. Yeah.
I mean, in what world are we living where New Orleans is a favorite?
I don't know, man.
There's just not a world where I'm betting on the Saints as a favorite. Sorry, Saints fans. I just.
No, I'm with you.
Laying points with Tyler Shook? Nah. I'm still mad at the Saints, by the way, for knocking me out of Survivor when they beat Carolina a couple weeks ago. Very mad at them.
And the truth shall set you free. All right, Zinno, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for the time as always. We'll catch up soon.
You got it, brother. Love you. Anytime. Talk to you soon.
All right, man. That's Mark Zinno. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.